We'd have these family dinners, and,
Yeah.
and he would sort of, right when the digital cameras came out, it was also in perfect concert with...
Ryan Reynolds is in hot water, and this time it's not part of some carefully crafted Hollywood script.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't feel. So if you see him and you can breach his...
Fox News just torched him. Co-stars are bolting, and ugly rumors of tantrums and blacklisting are on the rise. From threatening a makeup artist's career to alienating Jake Gyllenhaal, his nice guy act is crumbling. So, is this the real Ryan Reynolds? Let's dive in.
6 years with respect to this movie and its application, how we use Like a Prayer in the movie, is exactly what I'd been thinking about for 6 years.
According to inside sources, during the production, and more specifically the reshoots for Deadpool 2, Ryan Reynolds found himself in a predicament. His usual makeup artist was unavailable. They were reportedly out of the country, possibly booked on another project because, freelance artists in Tinseltown do occasionally have more than one gig. Now, under normal circumstances, a big budget movie with a staff like the size of a small nation could simply hire a substitute. You might think it's Hollywood standard procedure. Oh, our main person is away? Let's call in someone else. We have a Rolodex a mile long. But apparently, that didn't sit well with Reynolds.
Is that the first time you've worked together?
That is the second time we did a movie 20 years ago, believe it or not, called Dick. I'm not making a joke.
Instead, rumor has it he went full dictatorial meltdown, pulling out a threat that basically said, "Come back immediately, or I'll make sure you never work in Hollywood again." Yes, you read that correctly. Over a bit of foundation, powder, and possibly some high-grade latex to blend in the Deadpool scars. Sure, Ryan might be attached to a very specific aesthetic, but does that justify an alleged career-ending ultimatum? In the face of such demands, Fox executives reportedly had no choice but to comply because Reynolds had already staked his claim to creative control of the film. Suddenly, a comedic superhero flick turned into a set worthy of a tabloid scandal.
Recognize him from his big-time TV show, but despite the accolades, despite the...
What's interesting is the public's reaction. Many fans, long used to the quippy, irreverent persona of Reynolds, found this story hard to believe. Ryan? The guy who roasts Hugh Jackman for fun on social media? But then again, comedic charm doesn't always translate to kindness in real life. Could it be that the off-screen nice guy is just an expertly constructed role?
Yeah, that was...
We talked about jail
Your whole
before.
team
No,
came
no, no.
around me
Literally,
and said,
even
"Do
when
not
you
talk about drinking
even when
in
you
front of
say
Josh."
the word, all I hear is...
Speaking of Deadpool, let's pivot to the broader conflict that erupted around the sequel. The original film, directed by Tim Miller, was a massive success of smaller budget, and the breakout performance that skyrocketed Ryan's stardom. When you score an unexpected blockbuster, naturally, studios start throwing money at the sequel like confetti. However, something curious happened. Tim Miller, the director who co-created the Deadpool magic, didn't return for Deadpool 2. Reportedly because Ryan Reynolds demanded an unprecedented level of control, creative decisions, comedic tone, action sequences, marketing, you name it. Miller, not one to waste time bickering, apparently bowed out rather than engage in a never-ending tug-of-war. In an interview, Miller admitted he wasn't willing to fight every single decision. That's quite telling, right? Deadpool might be about a wisecracking mercenary who breaks the fourth wall, but behind the scenes, the comedic mask apparently gave way to an iron-fisted desire to run the show. Ryan's brand of comedic improvisation? Possibly overshadowing the script or the director's vision. His comedic input? Possibly drowning out everyone else's contributions. Fans who were thrilled by the comedic gold of the first film were left wondering, was Tim Miller's exit a red flag? If so, we might be looking at a star who cultivated such a strong brand identity around Deadpool that he refused to let any other voices shape the sequel. The result? Miller's departure, tension among cast and crew, and yes, an even bigger spotlight on Reynolds' alleged controlling habits.
Get online on the dial-up and email them to everybody, and you'd have, and I'm not joking here, you'd have like 400 or 500.
Now, let's shift our focus to a more personal angle. Jake Gyllenhaal is, by most accounts, one of Hollywood's chillest leading men, a guy who survived the maelstrom of Taylor Swift's pointed lyrics and typically shrugs off controversies like they're no big deal. So it's extra noteworthy that when asked recently about Ryan Reynolds, Gyllenhaal went from easygoing to downright ice cold in under 2 seconds. He simply said, "I have nothing to say about him." Think about that for a second. A man known for deflecting or humorously sidestepping personal jabs couldn't muster a single positive or even neutral statement about an actor he once referred to as a close friend. You might recall the press tour for the sci-fi flick Life, 2017, where Ryan and Jake's bromance soared in comedic interviews, often delighting fans with their playful dynamic.
They're like, this is all day we've been fucking around, and now we're gonna be serious,
dude,
right?
It's television.
No, they're fine.
Okay.
That camaraderie evaporated into the vacuum of space. If Jake Gyllenhaal is drawing a line in the sand, that's typically a sign of some real behind-the-scenes friction. Perhaps it's related to overshadowing issues on set, creative differences, or something more personal that never made the tabloids. But one thing is clear, when even the ultra-discreet Gyllenhaal cuts you off, you might have a serious image problem on your hands.
Not great. How are you?
Honestly, still pretty drunk.
Transfer me.
Let's talk about the other half of this power couple, Blake Lively. She burst onto the scene with Gossip Girl, then jumped to silver screen projects, eventually snagging her real-life romance with Reynolds after they both starred in the ill-fated Green Lantern. From the outside, it looked like a fairy tale.
Our life sucks.
Two unlikable people.
Worst life. No, but you know, it sort of caused some problems at home.
But then you remember the timeline. Ryan Reynolds was still married to Scarlett Johansson when he filmed Green Lantern. That marriage ended, and before you could say box office bomb, he and Blake were official. Soon after, Ryan's public persona took a 180-degree turn. Suddenly, he was the doting husband who teased Blake on Instagram, posted adorable birthday shout-outs, and engaged in a cutesy rivalry with Hugh Jackman for comedic effect. For years, it worked. People ate it up like free popcorn on premiere night. Now, though, the tide may be turning. When news surfaces about blacklisting threats or meltdown moments on set, it seems a suspicious coincidence that Ryan and Blake post a sweet new inside joke or share a comedic birthday message. As some fans put it, they're just so in love. It's adorable. Others suspect it's a PR strategy. Whenever negative rumors swirl, post a playful couple pic that reaffirms the lovable brand. One can't help but wonder if this is the ultimate Hollywood synergy, a power couple that spontaneously goes viral to overshadow any unsavory gossip. But what if the well of good PR is drying up? If more behind-the-scenes stories surface, Blake's ability to soften the blow might falter, particularly if fans start seeing the marriage itself as just another orchestrated piece of the Reynolds brand.
Pie that's steaming and scones and clotted cream, and she's reading Old Man and the Sea, and her little boy who's rolly with bonnets is just...
You might recall that prior to Scarlett Johansson, Ryan Reynolds was engaged to Alanis Morissette for several years. And after they split, Alanis released her album Flavors of Entanglement, which famously tackled heartbreak, insecurity, and betrayal. Though she never confirmed it was exclusively about Reynolds, lyrics that read like therapy sessions discussing jealousy and feeling overshadowed gave fans enough breadcrumbs to speculate it was indeed about their breakup. Then we have Scarlett Johansson's take. While she's known for keeping her personal life guarded, rumors of passive-aggressive jealousy on Ryan's part surfaced after their divorce. Scarlett's star power was surging at the time, the Avengers, anyone, while Ryan's career felt somewhat stagnant pre-Deadpool. Could it be that he found himself overshadowed, leading to tension? By the time Ryan hitched his wagon to Blake Lively, the dynamic had changed. Now, he was the bigger star, courtesy of Deadpool's massive success.
So happy to be here because it's Christmas time, and I don't know about you guys, but I still believe in the magic.
And guess what? we started seeing a more charming and confident Ryan, overshadowing the more subtle, lesser-known star power of Blake, especially in comparison to Scarlett's massive box office draw. Coincidence? Or do we have a pattern?
Well, whatever. Anyway, now we don't like each other, okay? This has gone beyond insults. Now we're just airing out all of our problems.
Let's not ignore the comedic factor. Ryan Reynolds has built an empire on sarcasm, meta jokes, and that signature smirk. He's the guy who makes talk show hosts double over with witty one-liners. Fans love him for it. Critics praise his comedic timing. But is there a darker side to that humor? Enter TJ Miller, co-star in the Deadpool series. Miller claimed that Ryan's jokes on set weren't the playful, we're all in on it jabs people see on talk shows. Instead, they were cutting remarks seemingly designed to belittle or keep co-stars in check like, you're just the side character, so know your place, pal. That's not friendly banter. That's a power play wrapped in comedic paper. If these allegations are accurate, then the comedic genius might be used as a mechanism to assert dominance. Sarcasm can be a bonding experience, sure, but it can also be a tool to subtly remind people who's in charge.
And I'd finished the sound mix, we finished the call time. It's just too late. She had one other note, and so we called her, and I'll never forget her picking up the phone.
Given multiple sources, from co-stars to behind-the-scenes staff, are telling similar stories, we can't just wave this off as a one-time misunderstanding. How about those industry giants who have chimed in unflatteringly? We have Quentin Tarantino openly questioning the value of Reynolds' Netflix films, basically implying, sure, he's making $50 million a pop.
He's an old man. You think Scorsese's gonna be into Ant-Man?
But does anyone even watch these? Then there's Chris Columbus, the filmmaker behind Home Alone and Harry Potter, who publicly trashed the idea of Ryan producing a stoner version of Home Alone, calling it an insult to cinema.
Yes! Where are you, you little...
And we can't forget about Gerard Butler, who pretended he didn't know what Free Guy was, and if that wasn't a stone-cold snub, it certainly reads as, I don't care about your filmography, man. In an industry where politeness is often the default to keep doors open for future collaborations, these statements ring a bit more harshly than usual.
My home burned down, right?
I'm sorry.
So I had to stay. I was staying in everything.
It suggests that Reynolds is no longer the darling of Tinseltown, at least among certain circles, and that mocking him or ignoring him publicly is less risky now than it used to be. Ferguson indirectly pointed a finger at Reynolds when she described an insecure, angry co-star during the filming of Life.
The Reverend Mothers are tasked with holding the memories of all the Reverend Mothers that came before them, so I'll be given centuries of...
She recounted an experience where this person got so heated that she eventually demanded to act toward a tennis ball instead of looking at them during scenes. Think about how extreme that is. A talented actress, so fed up with her colleague's attitude, refusing to even share the screen with him directly. That's borderline comedic in its absurdity, but it's also a profound statement on set toxicity. If you find yourself choosing an inanimate prop over a real co-star's presence, the environment must be truly unbearable. Could it be Jake Gyllenhaal? Possibly, but Gyllenhaal's track record and general approach to press suggest otherwise. The rumor mill, of course, points strongly to Reynolds. Another puzzle piece in this jigsaw painting of an actor who might be pushing everyone away behind the scenes. Now, why are these stories just surfacing or gaining traction recently? Hollywood is a land of carefully curated images and fierce damage control.
I liked how you revealed Domino. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, right? Zazie, she's great.
Especially for bankable stars. A-listers with proven box office draw usually benefit from extensive public relations teams. They arrange talk show appearances, manage social media narratives, and might quietly nudge insiders to keep stories on the hush-hush. But these days, leaks seem unstoppable. Fox News exposed the meltdown with the makeup artist, and the insider chatter about Reynolds' blacklisting threat is too big to contain. The bigger question is, why is Fox News, of all places, the one to broadcast it? possibly because it's no longer beneficial for any powerful stakeholders to keep Ryan's secrets hidden.
This is such a useless interview. It's so great.
This is totally, you have nothing
I'm
useful.
gonna ask a useful interview.
Or maybe there's simply no love lost with Reynolds in some corners of the industry, and certain executives finally see an opportunity to break the silence. When an actor becomes more trouble than they're worth or just as easily replaced by a new star, Tinseltown can turn on them in a heartbeat. No matter how huge their comedic brand might be, there's always someone else waiting to fill that niche. Ryan Reynolds fans have been particularly vocal. Some defend him vehemently, claiming these rumors are either overblown or purely Hollywood smear campaigns. Others express disillusionment, admitting they feel betrayed by the revelations, like they've been sold a comedic hero who might be an off-screen villain. The polarization is intense because Reynolds built his entire brand on fan engagement. Unlike more aloof A-listers, he's been extremely active on Twitter, Instagram, and other platforms, witty retorts at the ready. Fans got used to thinking they had a more personal connection with him. But now, questions arise.
I'm immensely proud, and I just feel really lucky too.
Is that affable persona just a well-crafted facade? Sure, every celebrity has a degree of performance in their public image, but a wide gap between the brand and real-life behavior tends to cause a more severe backlash. Fans might look for excuses or try to separate the comedic facade from the rumored tyrant behind the scenes.
This is such a useless interview. It's so great. This is totally, you have nothing useful. I'm gonna ask a useful interview.
That cognitive dissonance can be quite painful. Imagine discovering your favorite comedic actor might be habitually cruel to coworkers. It's a messy, emotional space for fans indeed.
Gordon, looks like we got 2 beards in the room.
3 if you count your wife. Let's dive in.
A big part of Reynolds' mystique is the story of his long road to stardom. After early stints in teen soaps, comedic roles, and the infamous flop Green Lantern, he finally found massive success with Deadpool, turning what could have been a career ender, the X-Men Origins Wolverine fiasco, into a triumphant comeback. Everyone loves a redemption story, especially in Hollywood. Yet, the bigger they are, the harder they might fall. Celebrity culture thrives on building idols and then tearing them down.
Oh, I swear so much. Braxton, when have you ever heard me swear?
The moment the public senses that a star's carefully polished persona is inauthentic, the feeding frenzy begins. In Reynolds' case, if these accusations keep piling up, his comedic brand could become overshadowed by a narrative of hypocrisy and arrogance. While this script is primarily about Ryan's unraveling persona, we can't ignore how these stories reflect on his wife, Blake Lively. Their marriage became synonymous with comedic Instagram posts, red carpet banter, and number couple goals for many fans. If the Ryan Reynolds brand suffers significant damage, Blake might feel the ripple effects. She's talented in her own right, but let's face it, she hasn't had a big box office smash that catapulted her into the same echelon as her husband. Much of her public cachet derives from that perfect Hollywood couple synergy. If that synergy cracks, does her star power fade as well?
And would it be scored to some sorrowful...
Hollywood can be unforgiving. Just ask countless stars who struggled after a messy association with an embattled spouse. It's worth noting that Hollywood loves a good comeback story just as much as it loves a fall. If Ryan Reynolds takes accountability, maybe a heartfelt apology, a confession that stress got the better of him.
Dev, take those broken wings and learn to fly again.
Or even a philanthropic pivot some segments of the public might forgive and forget. But the question stands, are these stories a one-off meltdown or evidence of a deeply ingrained habit of controlling behavior?
Oh boy, I was up near...
If it's the latter, no PR stunt or comedic cameo might be enough to fully salvage his reputation.
I often felt like I was walking through some sort of weird skin-covered forest. There's these huge people everywhere.
Fans, co-workers, and studios alike may simply look elsewhere for their comedic leading man. Some might say, so what if a Hollywood star is difficult? Happens all the time. True, but this scenario underscores how drastically public images can differ from private realities.
Different paths I chose in life, you know, particularly show business and that sort of thing. I was able to kind of...
Ryan Reynolds was marketed as the carefree, self-deprecating Deadpool hero who turned every interview into a comedic highlight reel.
Cool. Sorry, I'm talking about the big one or
It's all about.
This persona was, in many ways, sold to fans as the authentic Ryan. If the meltdown rumors, behind-the-scenes threats, and co-star bust-ups are true, we have another example of a star leveraging their power at the expense of colleagues who have far less clout. Makeup artists, co-stars, even directors. Nobody is safe from star power intimidation if the star in question feels untouchable.
So, how much do you bench?
No, not much. All show, very little go.
It's a microcosm of the broader question. How much power should A-listers wield? We've walked through the alleged meltdown, the parted ways with co-stars, the tension with directors, and the suspiciously well-timed family-friendly PR. We've questioned whether Reynolds' comedic persona is authentic,
Hanging on by a thread,
or a marketing masterpiece. Now we stand at the precipice. Is he about to face major career repercussions? The final twist? Hollywood is fickle. If Reynolds continues to pull in massive box office numbers, studios might overlook the controversies. But if audiences turn sour on his brand of humor, if co-stars become reluctant to work with him, or if more inside stories leak out...
Wolverine is like just emotionally stunted in almost every way, shape, and form.
Okay.
Although in this movie, in one scene, he has more lines than he's ever had.
The kingdom he's built on sarcastic one-liners may crumble.
About everything, the NGO, Parker, my job.
So, dear viewers, the question remains.
Just excited. I was excited to be a part of it. I chased the hell out of it. I went after the role and basically begged Marjan.
Is Ryan Reynolds another star hoisted by his own comedic petard, or a misunderstood, stressed-out actor who occasionally cracks under pressure? Maybe the truth is somewhere in between. Let's not forget the complexity of Hollywood. The same system that can elevate you can tear you to pieces if you rock the boat. So, is this the moment we collectively say, wait, Ryan Reynolds might not be the charming comedic champion we thought he was? Or is it all just exaggerated hype, courtesy of an industry that thrives on scandal? Let us know your thoughts. Do you believe the stories about his blacklisting threats and meltdown behavior? Are you still a fan, or are you reconsidering your stance? Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more deep dives into Hollywood's behind-the-scenes sagas. Because trust me, we haven't heard the last of Ryan Reynolds.
I grabbed the camera and I went in the bathroom and I just took a picture of my penis.
Yeah.
With more rumors swirling, this story is far from over, and who knows what new revelations might surface in the weeks ahead. Until next time, stay curious, keep questioning the status quo, and always be ready for the next wave of Tinseltown drama. There's never a dull moment in the City of Stars. And who knows, maybe we'll be back soon with another chapter in the ongoing saga of Ryan Reynolds versus the world.